The Marino Show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Marino Show. I'm your host, David Marino. Today, I'm talking to David Brandon. He is a filmmaker, a musician, a paranormal investigator, and he owns DarkHouse Entertainment. He is making a new film called Blakes Krazy Nightmare, and this film will return Freddy Krueger to the screen. I'm so excited about that, and I'm so happy to have David with me today. David, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, let's talk about DarkHouse Entertainment. That is your company, your umbrella to do all your creative films or whatever projects you have. Can you talk to me a little about how you formed that company and why?
Well, it all started pretty much just with the concept of a creepy house around the corner from your neighborhood, or on Halloween night, you see a house in the neighborhood that someone has decked out in Halloween stuff. And I just thought the name was fitting for me and what I do because I'm only doing horror films. And Dark House Entertainment was inspired by that.
I know that you've made other films in the past and you're very creative and you have a lot of different ideas. And I want to get to Blake's Krazy Nightmare because we're talking about Blake Best, who's an award-winning horror writer, but he also is an actor and he's your friend. But this movie is going to be epic because you're bringing back your version of Freddy Krueger. Can we talk about the film and what we're going to see with this?
Yeah, so Blake's Krazy Nightmare was inspired by, I was a fan of him and his books. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool to make his own nightmare, his own experience with Freddy? And in order to do that, we decided to go off of his previous books like Razor's Edge. And he's making a new book right now, which will be in the film. And I just thought it would be cool to go after that and then also mesh the books in with the film. So that would be the reason why Freddy's going after him, because he has not told enough about Freddy. So Freddy literally haunts him, and to the point where he has to be in therapy because of it. And then not only that, he's going to go after everyone else in the group therapy along with Blake. Who's going to live? Who's going to die? Yeah.
I know that we had spoken offline before this interview about what you wanted to present with this version of Freddy Krueger, and you wanted it to be a darker version of Freddy, kind of reminiscent of the first Nightmare on Elm Street. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, you've seen the films after the first one, everyone has. It gets kind of goofy and it's still scary. It's just a little too goofy. So we want to go back to the original darker Freddy and really scare people and bring back that feeling. There'll still be a little humor, but it'll be dark humor. And other than that, it's going to be bloody, gory. We're going to bring in nightmare scenes that no one's ever seen before, all original kills. And we even have an original one-of-a-kind glove that we had made for this film. And it's the only design out there of this glove. So no one's seen this before, and they're going to see it in the film. And, we would have showed it off before, but we like to keep everyone on the edge of their seat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Also, when it comes to the makeup or what Freddy is going to look like, you have an idea of what you want him to be in this film too. Can you talk about that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, we're inspired by the part two makeup, but we're gonna still put our own little twist on it, and it's gonna look as close to part two as we can get it without 100%, because we still want to try to be original in our own way. And we are Freddy fans making this film. So we love Freddy. We know what we're doing. We know what other people want to see when it comes to Freddy. So we're going to do that, and it's going to be a full length film.
When did you first become aware of Nightmare on Elm Street? Were you obviously were a kid? What was it about Freddy Krueger that you just connected to and that you loved? What was it about those films that really inspired and connected you?
Well, of course, I seen it when I was a kid, like most other people, but I didn't only just see it. The people, my family, would, after watching it, they would try to scare me, telling me Freddy's gonna get me. They would lock me in a bathroom. I was too short to even reach the light, and they would sing the little song and all that stuff. And then I just grew to love it over the years. Yeah, but and then dressing up as Freddy on Halloween and seeing other kids in the neighborhood doing that was really fun, especially growing up in a neighborhood that just looks like it would be in a horror film, with the sidewalks and the trees, the old historical houses with the big porches and stuff. Yeah. So that too has just been a really big inspiration and just grew my love for Freddy.
You know, for you, this is going to be a really big, it's really one of your first projects under the DarkHouse Entertainment umbrella. I know that you've had other
Yeah.
other projects that you've done, but are you excited about that? What's going through your mind right now?
Absolutely. And under the DarkHouse name, just starting off with that, I didn't want to just start off with a short film. I wanted to start off with a full feature film and go the extra mile and show people what I'm capable of. And we pretty much just working on a skeleton crew for everything. So I done all the writing. I casted everyone myself. I've had some help with locations, and we're gonna have one makeup artist on this film. His name's Jason Godsey, and he's a really cool guy. And he's going to be bringing Freddy to life for us. But we're just gonna go big or go home. With the first film under the DarkHouse name, which is Blakes Krazy Nightmare.
And you've hired, I saw that you had posted on social media that you all have gotten your cast together and you actually announced who Freddy Krueger is going to be played by, right?
Yeah, it's our friend Dustin, actually. And, we had a lot of submissions and emails for that role, but his in particular just stood out among the rest. He went above and beyond in his little casting reel video. And we just immediately, after we seen that, we were like, okay, everyone else, sorry, it's taken. But he's going to do great. He's really close to Robert Englund. He's the height. His facial features are going to just be top of the line, legit, right on everything everyone wants to see when it comes to Freddy's makeup. Not like the 2010, because we actually use real effects. We don't use CGI or nothing like that. It's going to be all special effects the old school way.
I loved the art of makeup and being creative in that way and it not looking like a computer generated anything. I love horror with blood and real, real makeup. Like I think a lot of hardcore horror fans like. So I'm glad that you're bringing that back.
Our special effects guy, he can make body parts, anything, you name it. And we're actually gonna try to pull off the extended arm scene, our own version of it,
Yes, I can't wait to see that. We had talked offline too about the fact that you are someone who likes to give opportunity to people who don't always get opportunity.
We just like to give a chance to people who have been looked over, who've tried out for other films, and I see their potential that other people might not see. And I want to give them the spotlight and make them feel like family.
You said you've already casted. This film is going to be shot in Knoxville, right? That's where you're based?
Yeah.
So
it's going to be shot locally here and kind of scattered out, not in one particular area. But the cool thing is that a few scenes that we're doing all around there, we'll be filming different scenes in one location because most of the other locations are only walking distance from the others. So it's just going to be here in town, scattered out. And I will be leaving posters and other cool stuff like that after we film. And hopefully someone will find it and they'll look us up.
Right now, there's an Indiegogo campaign as well for the film if people want to help out, right?
Yes, it's almost complete. It's been a lot of work just making that, and it will be up soon. And if people are watching this and it's already up, please just share it if you can, and that'll be really helpful, and we appreciate you.
As far as the music goes, we all know the Nightmare on Elm Street music. It's iconic, but you yourself are also a musician. So have you thought about the music for the film? Are you going to be involved in any aspect of that since you are a musician?
Me and Blake, we make music together and we're actually composing stuff for this film. And then we have a lot of other like bands and stuff. We're going to include some of their music on the soundtrack or in the film, wherever it fits. But mainly people will hear a lot of atmospheric music throughout the film, and it will all be original.
So I know that Blakes Krazy Nightmare isn't the only project that you have in mind. There are a few other things that you're thinking of down the line. One of them is it's a web series, right? Called Unhappy. What is that about?
It's basically about a demonic serial killer clown, and he likes to kidnap people and do bad things to them in his little warehouse. And he ends up taking the wrong person who happens to be related to the detective who's already on his ass about everything. And pretty much it's just going to be a really crazy roller coaster because you're going to not only see things about Mr. Unhappy, but also the struggles that the detective is going through as well, trying to put out all the puzzle pieces together and find these missing people. And it all leads to Unhappy.
And this again is going to be a web series. When are you planning to try to start that? Is that going to be after Blakes Krazy Nightmare?
Oh yeah, that's going to be after Blakes Krazy Nightmare. So and so far it's just only 4 episodes because I think we're just wanting to keep it at 4 because I've been talking to the person who owns that character Unhappy about a future, maybe like a film just with that character. So who knows? We'll just see what happens. Yeah.
Something else you were talking about before we started was that you're going to be doing sort of a warm-up film before you start on Blakes Krazy Nightmare. Tell me about that project.
Yeah. Well, if there's any Evil Dead fans watching, then we're gonna have a warm-up film. It's gonna be a short film, but it's called Deadite Rising, and it's gonna be some people going out to the woods and doing things they shouldn't be doing, messing with books they shouldn't be messing with. And it's just going to be a fun, kind of probably cheesy um, film about someone just killing a bunch of deadites.
So, David, one of the other things that also interested me about you was that you are a paranormal investigator. I find that fascinating. What got you into that? And just tell us a little about it, like what you've done with that part of your life.
Well, it all started with my dad. He was a demonologist, so he studied demons and, books of the dead and stuff, things of that nature, and also anything biblical. So, and my dad loved sci-fi stuff and always watching paranormal, like films or stuff with aliens. So that really got me into wanting to go find that stuff myself. So I started going out with it back in the day with just a flashlight and maybe a little radio thing. That was about it. But now when I go out, I have like a spirit box and you can hear voices coming through, and it's just wicked. And I love it. Even going out by myself. And I always try to film something for YouTube. I haven't done that in a while, but I'll catch up to that in the future. But I enjoy it, and I love the feeling when I'm there in a real haunted place. Because I'm not. I get scared too sometimes, because especially if there's been something very bad that's happened in a location I've been to, it can get really creepy.
Have you physically felt like what that is when you are in a place where something bad has happened? I mean, I know I've
Oh
never
yeah.
experienced it, so I'm just curious what that's been like for you in those situations.
There's been times where the hair has stood up all over my like body, my arms, everything, and get goosebumps. And then I would do some research on a particular place I would go beforehand, and let's just say someone died in a very bad way in a location, let's just say with a knife or maybe something like some kind of weapon. I would bring a weapon with me to kind of trigger the atmosphere
Mm.
for whatever's there, because I know it's going to get pissed off, and then stuff's going to start happening, and that we call trigger objects. So that really amps up the energy in any haunted location.
I definitely think you need to do something with this in the future under DarkHouse, because that would
Yeah.
be fun to watch. It really would. As a viewer, I think it would be great to watch.
Well, a few years ago, I had wrote a reality show called Ghost Connection, and I take celebrities to real haunted places and have them pretty much try to stick out the whole night with me. And did one episode, and it didn't work out as planned. So I've kind of been reformulating the entire thing. I'm gonna try to revisit that in the future, which I already have my own camera crew for all that. So I won't be filming anything like that. But it's definitely fun, especially whenever you're filming with a bunch of camera guys and audio and stuff starts messing up, and then they start hearing things through their headphones and lights flickering and stuff falling over. Just watching them get scared, it's worth it.
What is your favorite part of the filmmaking process? If you can even answer that question, what is the part about it that just sucks you in, that makes you love it so much?
the writing, being creative, um, creating characters, finding people who would match up to that character, who I think would play a good character that I've made. And also, once you cast somebody, I like to give them a little free range and let them do their own thing with the character. And it always ends up better than what I wrote, you know? Even when I do a little improv, um, maybe they'll have their lines, but they might throw something in there that I didn't write, and it would turn out way better that way. And I love that process. And going out to locations, setting up the gear, it's all fun, you know, all of it.
What are your long-term plans or your big picture ideas for DarkHouse Entertainment as you move forward?
Well, my plans for it is just to keep going, keep making original stuff that no one's ever seen. Um, I have a lot of ideas written down just for future projects, you know, anywhere from vampires, slashers, you name it. If I can pull it off, then I'll do it without CGI.
I have to ask you because I didn't ask this earlier. So, talking about horror films, do you have a favorite? Is there one that you loved watching growing up, or any that have inspired the work that you're doing today? Aside from obviously Nightmare on Elm Street, are there any films that just really stuck with you, or directors, or anyone inspiring in that way?
I've always been inspired and loved that film Fright Night. I grew up watching. It was the first horror film I watched with my dad, so that's very sentimental film to me. And the fact that you're in a neighborhood and your next door neighbor is a vampire and you can't convince anyone that he is, that's literally crazy. Like, that's wild.
And I loved Roddy McDowall in that film. I mean,
Yeah.
he kind of played a Vincent Price type character. That was a really great film. And speaking of special effects, the special effects in that film were just
Mhm. Everything they did was just all things that you could make, you know, you're not nothing computer generated unless it's like an explosion or something.
yeah. And yeah, Fright Night, if you haven't seen it, the original Fright Night from the 80s,
Yeah.
the original, because that
Yep.
was so good. So, coming back around to Blake's Crazy Nightmare, I did see a few short clips, like short trailer clips on social media, but you are in the process of, you're going to be working on a longer form trailer, right?
Yep. On June 17th, we are filming a trailer with, you know, the characters in the film, some of them, and Freddy. So people are going to see Freddy in that trailer. And it's going to be a legit length of a trailer, um, as long as we can make it. So it's going to be fun doing that. I
That's
can't
so,
wait.
yeah, that's going to be really, really exciting. Um, what else do you have coming up that you want to talk about? Other projects? You mentioned, Deadite Rising, Unhappy. I think that's a lot. Blake's
Yeah,
Crazy.
I don't.
I think that's going to keep you busy.
Yeah, I'm pretty booked now. Yeah, I'm not even thinking of anything after after those right now. So all I know is that after this film is made, the ball is going to be going faster and faster, and I'm just going to be pumping stuff out left and right.
Once the film is done, is your goal to take it to like festivals, or what do you see that unfolding as, like, kind of to get it out there and shown?
Um, yeah, I'm not really interested in the film festival
Okay.
thing, only because I don't like once you start doing that stuff, just my opinion, you get stuck doing it.
Mhm.
And I just want to throw it online if it's something short.
or have a premiere somewhere.
I'm gonna have a premiere for sure. That I love. I'm definitely gonna rent a theater out when the time comes, and it's gonna be wild. You know, gonna have posters, handing them out. Man, it's just overwhelming thinking about it because I can't wait to get to that moment.
What else would you like to say to people out there that maybe aspiring filmmakers or people that want to do what you're doing, but maybe they have a little apprehension or they think that they're not good enough? Or, you know, what would your advice be to anyone out there who is wanting to make a film and they've never done it before?
Just start researching equipment that's affordable for you. And, you know, if you like the way someone else's film looks, ask them, you know, hey, what kind of a gear are you using? They might tell you, and then you can just start learning on YouTube videos how to edit and do this and do that. And if you don't think you can do it, you can do it. If you can dream it, you can do it.